Hey, all you dahlia lovers out there, take a look at this. We're going to be taking a tour of my dahlia border. So whether you are a dahlia person, and you know if you are, you think about it all year long, you plan for the storage, you plan when you're going to take them out of storage, and then you wait what seems like forever for that first bloom. I'm a dahlia person. If you're a dahlia person, leave me a comment below and stay tuned because I need some advice from you and an ID. If you can help me with that. But even if you're not, even if you don't eat, breathe, and dream dahlias, maybe this will inspire you to try dahlias. I noticed that they're becoming more popular. I have been growing dahlias for many years, and I try to buy my tubers locally. And when I say locally, I mean within the New England area. I garden here in Connecticut Zone 6. My first set of dahlias that I now have, I had many sets of dahlias before that, and it took me forever to realize how precious they are, and that it is up to me to make sure that I preserve the dahlias that I have. But initially, the ones that I bought here on this property many years ago, I got from a dahlia farm in Litchfield, Connecticut, and it was, at the time, it was called As the Crow Flies Dahlia. Her daughters now own that, and they are a flower farm. I think it's the Dahlia Daughter, so if you want to check them out. But initially I bought them because I liked them on a whim. But since then I have purchased most of my dahlias through Flora Farm, and I've tried to coordinate with the dahlias that I have. This is my favorite time of year, and I was inspired. I'm going to take you to the dahlia border in a moment. It is right near the road, so there might be some background noise, but I was inspired years ago by this woman in the next town over, and I never got to meet this person. I always wanted to stop and talk to her about dahlias, but I never did, and she doesn't do this anymore. But she had this long fence where she had all of her dahlias planted right against that fence on the road, so when you drove by the busy intersection, you would see them, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is the most spectacular viewing of dahlias that I've ever seen. And so the reason that I grow my dahlias the way that I do now, with the intent that people are going to stop and ask me about them, and they do, because I live more in a neighborhood. So dahlias have kind of become my icebreaker. Actually, the whole garden by the road has become an icebreaker, because when you live in a community, you should live in the community. Talk to people. So I have a lot to say about the dahlias, and I'm going to show them as we go. Not every single one of them is blooming. It has been a weird year for dahlia growing. Some of them are a little shorter than they normally are, and they're a little later blooming, but they are still absolutely gorgeous. So let's go take a look. So this is the road side of the dahlia border. I have knockout roses and Lismachia planted nearest to the road, and you can see that most of my dahlias are peeking over the fence. I actually would like all of them to peek over the fence, and so I'm actually going to be seeking out some taller varieties. The fence is 3.5 feet tall, but they are definitely traffic stoppers. They are so beautiful. So throughout this video, I'm going to be pointing out to you which ones are excellent cut flowers, which ones I don't use for cut flowers, and you will see different color combinations that I use in specific rooms in my house. I know which colors look best in vases in my house. I love to bring the dahlias inside as cut flowers. And you will also see some mistakes that I make, because I really don't like to put the same colors next to each other, or the same color families next to each other, because I like them to stand out. This is year 1 of strawberries and cream, and I already love this one. Look at that. This is gorgeous. Again, we're 3.5 feet at the fence here, and this one is just hitting the 3.5 feet. And right next to it is Sandra, and Sandra is kind of a one that I bought just to accent other colors, but it is a beauty by itself. This is excellent as a cut flower. So is Strawberries and Cream. They do really well. They have nice long stems to them, and they last a long time in the vases. So this is actually my favorite dahlia, and it's not a great one for vases. This is Breakout, and I am in love with this creamy peach and pink and chartreuse look to that very center. It does not have super long stems. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're in clusters and they face each other. I don't want to complain about it because I do love it, but I just enjoy this one in the garden, and so many pictures. I will occasionally cut one and bring it in and just enjoy it, but oh my goodness, it is my favorite dahlia right now. So this is Peanut Brittle, and Peanut Brittle I've had for a long time. I love all the shades of Peanut Brittle. You got a little bit of purple on the inside, a little bit of purple on the rims of the petals. It gets quite tall. It is a beauty. It is excellent as a cut flower. It is beautiful in my kitchen. These colors look so great in my kitchen, so I cut a lot of these. And you'll see repetition on some of the varieties that I have in the border here. Bracken Sarah is not a great cut flower for me. It is a stunning, I love this dahlia. I love the yellow and the peach. Again, I say it's not a great cut flower because it's hard to use, but I still do cut them. It is got that beautiful, I don't know, porcupine kind of shape to it. It just gets prettier the longer that it's open. And you can see that I grow the dahlias pretty close together. I'm using the fence as the support on one side, and then I will put up these posts and twine on this side. I like when they grow together and just look like just a fun and wild garden. This is Aloe Candy that is popping up between Bracken Sarah and Maniac. Hello, Bumblebee. Maniac has been here for a good number of years, but you can see how they are, I am eye to eye with them, and I am 5'6", and Aloe Candy normally doesn't get this tall, but I think because it was kind of competing, it did, and it is just, it's a beautiful pink. I like the pink and the yellow next to each other. So Maniac I have several clumps of, and it has been around for a long time. It reminds me of a Muppet. I love it very much. It's a great cut flower. It looks fantastic in vases. And so my question for all you dahlia people out there, when you get a sport, come on, like this one, okay? What do you do? Will it take over this dahlia? I know I could find the answer online if I looked, but I would rather, I am from an era where I learned things from other people. So do I follow it down and put a ribbon around the base of the stem and then divide this piece out? What do people normally do? I like this. I think it's pretty in its own way, and I think I would like to grow it because I don't have this color, and it looks great with the original Maniac. So this is Hydarcy right here, Hydarcy, and I've had this one a long time. I'm not even sure where this one came from. I love this, the pollinators super love Hydarcy. And I have a couple clumps of it. It does great as a cut flower. It comes in several different shades. There's another one down the other end I'll show you in a minute. This is new this year and I already love it. The stems are super long. Look at the stems on that. I love the coloring, caramel antique. I don't know if I already said the name or not. And I love the buds. Look at that. That is just so, so pretty. I did not have this shade as a dahlia, and I am very, very happy with this one. So this is year 1 for Caramel Antique. This beauty is Apricot Star, and I think I'm in year 3 of owning it here. It is a producer. It really produces a lot of blooms. They are excellent in flower arrangements and they last a long time. I have several Myrtles Folly and I don't believe I have one blooming. I do have pictures of them blooming in the past. It's given me trouble, and so that's why I babied them all of last year, and now I have several clumps of them. The jury is still out on as far as how big bloomers they are, for me anyway, but there's a lot of buds on here, so I'm hoping to see a lot of flowers. And you can see that this is in the wrong place here, because to the left is Apricot Star and to the right is Bahama Mama. That is a Tolly. The coloring on Bahama Mama is gorgeous. I have had it for years. I have given it to friends, and it is great in cut flowers. It lasts. It's a profuse bloomer. I can cut every day if I wanted to cut some of these. This is my red cactus dahlia, and the name escapes me at this moment, but it is a tuber maker and a blossom maker, and it looks good with peaches, and it looks good with yellows, and it looks good with Boogie Nights down there, that purple color. And I've got another Sandra right next to it. And Sandra's, it really is a winner of a dahlia. But again, I always think of it as like, you know, the filler portion of the vases, but it does make everything else look really great in the border. And Boogie Nights was a gift from my mom. I don't know that I would have picked this color on my own, but it is a blossom maker and a tuber maker, and it just fills up a huge space and it blends with everybody else so nicely. So it is definitely an enjoyable bloom, and I love to put it in vases with the red. Oh, thank you.
So pretty. Really
thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they look so nice.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy your walk.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So I would never show anyone's face without their permission, but that, yeah, I do enjoy people that enjoy the flowers. So I try to put the short ones on the end and plan for it, and Jitterbug is, this is pretty typical of how tall Jitterbug gets. Jitterbug is an excellent one to dry the blooms if you were into any kind of wreath making, because it just holds its color and its shape very, very well. I have had this one for many years. We are just reaching the top of the fence here, so it's not a real tall one, but it gets very wide, and it is the earliest. I have these by, let's see, I have customers when these are in bloom, so I have these late May. I will start to see Jitterbug showing up as a bloom, so, and it's pretty dependable year after year like that. So here is the one that I need help identifying. So I have narrowed it down to 2, and it is either Rin Fu or Mom's Day Special. This is typical of its height, so it is about 3.5 feet at its tallest. The blooms are, this is pretty typical throughout the entire season, are about 7 inches to 7.5 inches across. They are not nice to use in vases, but they sure, well, I do use them still, but they sure look pretty in the garden, and I just love the coloring on it. Now here's one right next to it. It looks very, very similar to Jitterbug. This is called Wine-Eyed Jill. So I will be sure not to put these next to each other next year. Whenever a dahlia gives me trouble and I end up almost losing it, I will keep it in a pot the following year and try to baby it a little bit. Right now I do have Senior's Hope in a pot, and that is a fantastic dahlia. The blooms, it's a great cut flower. But when I almost lose them, it's usually my fault when I almost lose them. For, you know, storage or whatever the reason is, usually my fault. But this is very pretty, but it's just too similar to Jitterbug to put them next to each other. Now you'll notice that there is a really big gap between this dahlia and the next set, and it's because I have a serious issue with slugs. I will link how I get my dahlias up and growing before I put them in the garden. This is a very narrow border. It's right near the grass, and the slugs just come out of the grass, and it is insane. They will just mow and mow and mow over top of a dahlia and never let it grow. And that's what happened to these two. I thought they were tall enough to put out. We will see if I get blooms this year. One of them is Spartan. Spartan is a new one this year, and I don't know which one is. Here's another Bracken Sarah right here next to my one and only AC Rosebud. And so this is as tall as me. It is a great, fantastic cut flower. I will cut them in clumps, and it's another one that dries very well that I will use in crafts and wreath making. It keeps its color and its shape. It is a beautiful, beautiful color. And this is pretty typical of its height. The coloring on the blooms is so unique and individual, and I just really appreciate these shades. I can use this with yellow, I can use it with the red cactus, I can use it with Jitterbug even. I have a lot of pollinators in my garden, and I welcome them up. They didn't like me touching them, but they love the dahlias this time of year. Here is another 2 duplicates. I've got the apricot star down here, and this is another maniac with another sport. I'm guessing that's what is going on here. I've not ever had that happen, to be truthful with you. I've had it happen with hostas before, but not with dahlias. And I think that's kind of cool looking, and I would like to keep it. This is my one and only white. This is snowbound, and this is I've had it for like 3 years. This is my first year I have seen it look like, okay, you have arrived. It is a beauty. We are expecting 3 or 4 days of rain in a row. I'm going to be cutting some of these today to enjoy them inside. And this is another Bahama Mama. Oh my goodness, it's just perfection. All of those colors. So, so pretty. And here is another High Darcy. There's just something about the pinks and the yellows and the peaches together that I love, and I also like, you know, that daisy-like center. This is Labyrinth. Labyrinth is 3 years old, and they're much more yellow this year than they were last year. I like that they have that different color on the underside of them. Just a really pretty dahlia, and so I don't have a lot of blooms on this one, but they're nice as a cut flower as well. Here's another Labyrinth just getting ready to open. And then I have another peanut brittle. Again, I am eye to eye with this one. Oh, so pretty. This little beauty is called Polka, and what is not to love about that? I don't have a lot of these. I'm trying to make more of these. It is a shorty, so you know, there's only so many ends of the border here, and I do like to keep them all together, but man, what a beauty. Great for cut flowers as well. So that is my dahlia collection right now, and I am looking to add a couple more tall ones, like the almost 5.5, up pushing 6 foot dahlias for the middle. And I need to do a better job planning on how I arrange them in the garden, and I'm going to make a little map this fall. So that is my goal. I'm getting ready to label everybody and make sure we are all set for storage. I will leave links below and above for the storage on how I do it. Everyone has their own way, not their own way, but a way of doing things, and your way is right, my way is right, we're all right. But leave me some suggestions on dahlias. You're like, oh, you gotta have that one right there, because I would love that, and I can seek it out over this winter and have it in my dahlia border next year. So thumbs up if you enjoyed spending time with me today, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next adventure in gardening. See you soon.